Oh, let's stop the music. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with the. I was going to introduce my guest before I introduce myself, but you're with your host, Julian Leahy, and I'm today joined by the love coach, Carissa from SoCal. Welcome to the show, Carissa.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And Carissa has been doing all sorts of wonderful things, coaching people and helping them with their relationships. And she's also a very good marketer in terms of building up an audience. So we've got a lot that we can learn from Carissa. Tell us a little bit about what you help people with, firstly.
Yeah, so I help single women attract marriage-minded men and date them without self-sabotage.
Yes, because we all have the self-sabotage baggage, I think, is something that we do sometimes or all the time, really. And what are some of the things that people do consistently that get in the way of them being happy?
They go back to an ex, even though the ex hasn't changed. That's kind of a big one. Another one is thinking a lot about what you don't want in a relationship instead of what you do want in a relationship. Um,
Yeah,
uh, yeah,
yeah,
because you're
you got
thinking
to
about
cut,
like
you got
the
to cut.
past.
You don't go back to the ex. You got to cut the ex off, even though obviously there's some perks to going back to the ex. In the end, it's not worth it, is it? Got to cut them
If
off
not, if they
cold.
haven't changed. Yeah.
Nobody changes, I don't think. And the other problem is we sometimes think we can change people, don't we? And we always go for
That's
fixer-uppers.
That's a big one. That's a big problem is thinking that you can change someone, like not believing someone, not believing that someone is who they say that they are, who they show you that they are, and thinking instead, I'm going to change them into being what I want them to be.
And
Doesn't work.
also, when you're dating, you're kind of on your best behavior, and you wait like 6 months or a year before you actually show what you really like and start showing how messy you are. That's what I do. I'm married now,
And
but
it must be exhausting
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
you have to keep up a facade for that long. It's just exhausting.
yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, if you rip the mask off too early, you'll never get past the second date, will you?
You might. It depends. If they want the same kind, if they're the same kind of messy as you, they might be doing the same thing. And then once they recognize you, they go, "Oh my gosh, you're the same as we're this. Oh my God, we're the same kind of weird. This is awesome."
Very, very true. Now, so we talked previously about what Carissa used to do was, go into Facebook groups. Now, see, the thing is, people that are in coaching businesses, the challenge is how do you get the word out and build a following? And
Mhm.
tell us what you used to do back when Facebook actually worked and how you built quite an audience that is still with you today.
Yeah, so what I used to do was I would run Facebook ads to a free challenge. So I would run Facebook ads to an opt-in page for a free challenge, and then they'd go onto my email list, and I would host the free challenge in a Facebook group. And it was basically like um, very high touch, because I would be in that Facebook group for 4 hours a day while that challenge was running, so that I could respond in depth to each person, and really make sure that they got the information that they needed, that they got the support and encouragement and feedback that they needed. And I would do that for 14 days. It was a 14-day challenge. During that 14-day challenge, I would basically give them um, a shorter version of what my one-on-one coaching program is. And in the beginning, when I was doing that, what was really great about it was I could kind of test things out to see what would work. And it also, in terms of getting people the results that they needed. But it also was helpful because it let me be able to define the formula that I use that gets my clients the result, so that I could describe it to people when I was talking about it. It made me really clear about what that was. It made me really clear about the people that I wanted to work with. It gave me exact samples of the language that they described their problem with, so that was really helpful for me later on with marketing. And it was just a great way of showing them that I could get them a result and what it was like to work with me. And it really was a medium that I enjoyed. I enjoyed doing Facebook videos, posting those in the group every day, and then responding to asking them for because essentially I would do a Facebook video and it would be like, this is day 1 of the challenge. So today what we're going to do is we're working on clarity. So in the, comments below, tell me 3 things that you want to feel when you're in love, when you're in a happy, healthy relationship. Give me 3 things that you want to feel. And then I would meet them down in the comments and I would respond to them. So as we were doing this and they were having changes happen, they could see that what I was doing with them was working, and it was building this warm audience in a really high touch kind of a situation. And really, it just helped the Facebook ads, back when we could actually have a lot of demographic information to target, it was really helpful in reaching exactly the people that needed me, you know. And when I did that, I ran those challenges, those 14-day challenges for about a year. I would run them every month. And at the end of the challenge, I would invite people in to work with me one-on-one. I'd invite them into a one-on-one call, which was essentially a discovery call. And they were already, if they'd gone through the challenge and then they reached out to do the one-on-one call with me, it was a pretty sure thing that they were going to come in as clients, as private clients. So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and how long did this process take? Because when people start doing paid advertising, there's a bit of pressure on just turn it into money. But you seem to realize that it was going to be a slow burn, so you must have had other income to sustain you while you were doing this.
Well, I was really fortunate that my husband was working full time. So, I think that it's kind of like with musicians, if you're a musician, you usually have a spouse or a girlfriend who's working full time, while you kind of get your thing off the ground. But yeah, so, and I was also working in another job. So I was doing this on the side. I was counseling part-time and creating my business, my coaching business part-time. So as soon as my income from my coaching business was the same as my income from counseling, I left counseling so that I could focus full-time on the coaching. But
awesome. Yeah. And you managed to build up that audience. And now Facebook ads is pretty much, well, it's off the radar for me at the moment because it doesn't seem to work as good anymore. And you're talking about focusing on organic growth using Instagram Reels and YouTube. Do you want to tell us what you're doing and how that's working for you?
Yeah, so I'm really at the beginning of that. I'm working with a really great social media content creator who's giving me, just really breaking it down for me, because for me to wrap my head around Instagram Reels, I'm like a long form workshop person. I like to go in really deeply into the topics that we're doing, and I like to do longer form YouTube videos and things like that. So YouTube was a medium that worked really well for me, and I have a lot of clients who come in from that. But for Instagram Reels, I've really had to wrap my head around the idea that this was a completely different medium, and it was like bite-sized things, and it also had to be entertaining. And because I don't, with the whole idea of Instagram, it's very different. And people think of you can't really use the same piece of content across Instagram, across Facebook, across YouTube, like everywhere.
No, you need to chop it up. Just I'll jump in for people that don't know. Instagram Reels is kind of really short videos, and like Carissa said, that they need to sort of have a bit of sizzle to them, entertaining, fun. And how long are they usually? Do you find
they're
Carissa?
15 seconds to 30, or 30 seconds, or 60 seconds. So
is
for
60
me,
seconds too long? Because most of the ones I make are 60.
So.
No, that's all right, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's good because especially if the topic that you're talking about, it kind of depends. So the way that I am setting up my content is that I take a question like 5 things that I wouldn't do as a love coach, right? So I'll have something like that. If I was going to do a 15-second reel, I would literally just do 5 things I wouldn't do as a love coach, and then the thing where people point and it's like this, and the captions come up on the screen as they're pointing to them. You can do that in 15 seconds. But then if I want to go into each of those things and say, like, one of the things is that I wouldn't do as a love coach is, date an ex, right? So then if I'm doing another reel, I can take all 5 of those things and I can make 5 60-second reels. one on each of those things. So I can do a 60-second reel. It's like, this is why I wouldn't date an ex, because blah, 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 blah. And I can actually give people that information and, have time for a call to action at the end of it, and, those kinds of things.
Yeah, so repurposing that content, chopping it up and reusing it is it's kind of a pain, but once you do it and you keep all of that content, don't you? And you can repost it. Do you have any kind of automatic posting thing that you use?
Only when I'm running a challenge. If I'm running a challenge, I have automatic posts that go into the Facebook groups, and I set up my emails to go out automatically because I'm focused so much on doing the spot coaching in the group, and I want my feeding the content to be automatic. And then also, before I go into a challenge, whatever I'm doing, like if I have a YouTube video that's going out for that week, because I for a while was really consistent with the YouTube videos and doing one of those every Friday, I would set all of that up. I would have everything ready to go and then have it scheduled to just go out automatically and be shared automatically and all of that. So I don't always have things scheduled in advance, because you're trying to stay on top of multiple things at the same time. If I have an influx of new clients, I find that without a VA, my marketing, I can either help the clients that have just come in, or I can try to market for new clients, which is like the classic coaching dilemma.
Yes.
But when I
You've got to avoid getting bogged down.
Yeah, it's tricky. You have to avoid getting bogged down, but you also can't forget about staying findable.
Available. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. With your particular area, you need to be able to speak to people when they need you, don't you?
Yeah. And I have a pretty good structure in terms of client sessions and availability and all of those kinds of things. And they can find me 24/7 because of YouTube and because of Instagram, which is good. But yeah, I need to always be findable.
Understood. And tell us about your book, The Heartache Cure, which is available at theheartachecure.com. How long did it take you to write a book, and is this your first book?
This is my second book. It took me about a week to write this book because it actually would have been probably longer, but I talk about the content in the book so much in different settings that it was pretty easy as soon as I just kind of sat down and scheduled the time for myself to do it, it was easy to get it into the book. But what the book is about is it's about the 5 breakup wounds. So whenever we have a breakup with someone, we usually carry these 5 wounds with us forward that make it difficult for us to move on. And the book is about what each of those 5 breakup wounds is and how you can heal each one, so that you can actually become magnetic to love after that. Yeah.
Wonderful. And that's a free ebook that people can download. And the other thing I'll bring up is Carissa's main website. And that's probably the best way to get in touch with you. And if you want to check out the challenges and stuff, what have you got coming up, Carissa?
Well, I've got a group coaching program that I'm opening up shortly. And it's actually set up in 2 different ways. I have group coaching for people who have just come out of a relationship because they have a little bit different needs than people who have never really been in the kind of relationship they want to be in. So I've got those 2 separate group coaching programs that I'm launching at the same time. And they are coming up for September.
Wonderful. So if you want to check out what Carissa's doing, probably get the free ebook and head over to Carissa's website, and you can get into Carissa's community and have a chat with Carissa, who seems very nice and approachable. Thanks for coming on, Carissa.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And thanks for listening. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you very soon on another episode.